All right, we're looking at question 14 of the JAMB 2015 math exam. And we're told that if the angle of a sector of a circle has a radius of 10.5 centimeters and the angle is 120 degrees, we need to find the perimeter of the sector given that pi is equal to 22 divided by 7. All right, what are we actually being asked to find? The perimeter of the sector. This is actually the part that most people get tripped up on. So I'm going to draw this perimeter in green. The perimeter is this line, and the arc. Remember, the perimeter is the distance around any given shape. Some people mistakenly think the perimeter is just the arc that is drawn by that angle, and that's where they go wrong. Once you know what's being asked for, we can already see that the perimeter is going to be, let's call it P, is going to be the radius plus whatever that arc is. So let's call it 2r plus the arc length. Let's call that L for now. If you can get to this point of the equation, you're almost there. All we need to figure out is how do we calculate what the length of that arc is. Well, if we know what the perimeter around a circle is, and the answer to that is perimeter of a circle, let's call it P sub c, is equal to 2 pi r. Then we know that if this arc was half of the circle, then the arc length would be half of the circle length. If this arc is a third of the circle, then the arc length will be a third of the circle, and so on and so forth. And so based on that principle, we can take advantage of the fact that we are told that this arc has taken 120 degrees. Well, 120 degrees out of, okay, well, 120 degrees out of 360 degrees, that is the proportion of the overall perimeter of the circle that has been taken by this arc. And so if we multiply this proportion, this ratio, times the perimeter of a circle, which is 2 pi r, that's going to give us the length of the arc. Again, in this forum, I'm just trying to show how I would go about solving these problems, and I don't spend a lot of time on the theory. But if you're interested in understanding how to solve any similar problem, I highly recommend you look in the course. I highly recommend that you look in the video description for a link to some of the courses that are available on jambite.com. All right, so we know what the formula of the length is. All we have to do is plug in all the values. So this perimeter, as we said before, is 2 times the radius plus the arc length, which we've already decided is 120 over 360, times 2 pi r. And we're told that pi is equal to 22 over 7, so let's just plug that in now. And we know that the radius is equal to 10.5, so let's also plug that in. All right, so now we've plugged in all the values. This is just a basic arithmetic problem. We multiply everything out, and we get 2 times the radius is 21, plus 120 divided by 360 is 1/3, times. Now, just to make my life easier, I already know that 2 times 10.5 is 21, so I'm going to do that first. Multiply by 22 divided by 7. And so by doing it this way, it makes it a little bit easier. I know that 21 is equal to 3 times 7, so I can use that to cross these out. And so now I can simplify everything as follows. 21 plus 22 is equal to 43. Of course, you could have used a calculator to get to this point.